Chapter 501, The Might of Golden Dragon Tyrant Body. Tang Wulin's second golden ring lit up. His body shone, a dazzling mirror of gold. Then his opponents were upon him. He put up no defense or attempt to break free of spatial lock. Instead he stood there, still, a smile on his face as he looked the beast in the eyes. Hand partly raised, Wu Zhangkong paused once he caught sight of Tang Wulin's expression. In the audience, Yuan and Yue and Yue's Heng Yu dropped their jaws. A second golden ring? What does this one do? Without the empowerment of golden dragon body, Tang Wulin never would have stood a match against Wu Sijuo's Hell White Tiger, or Yuan and Yue's Titan Giant Ape. Additionally, a second golden ring meant he had another powerful soul skill. They now knew the root of his confidence. But what the skill did was anyone's guess. Wu Sijuo slashed Tang Wulin's chest with Hell Rush, and a clang reverberated through the air. She felt as if she was striking a steel wall. An odd one at that. It sucked on her soul power and blood essence, her body going rigid for an instant. Meanwhile, Shu Yicheng's side saw down on Tang Wulin's shoulder. He restrained himself at the last moment, afraid he would fatally harm Tang Wulin. But his side stopped the second it touched the mirror-like scales. Unable to move any further, the last to reach Tang Wulin, Yang Nyangsha struck with his bear paw. A boom resounded upon impact, but Tang Wulin did not so much as budge, and he felt a portion of his strength stripped away. Tang Wulin's scales flashed iridescent, blinding. The three gaped, dumbstruck. How can this be? He took on our combined attack like it was nothing. Is he even human? Even Teacher Wu would be affected by our attack without his battle armor. A draconic roar rumbled from Tang Wulin's body, waking the rankers from their stupor. Tang Wulin stomped on the ground, a golden aura flaring around him. He was divinity incarnate. A split second after his stomp, the stage trembled. With a boom, 8 small phantom dragons burst out of the ground. Once again, the rankers were stunned. Never before had Tang Wulin used an attack like this. Because of this, they were unable to dodge. The phantom dragons struck the three rankers like bolts of lightning. Their entire bodies spasmed. Shu Yicheng fared the worst of the three with his frail body. Blood sprayed from his mouth as he faltered backward. Before the phantom dragon could finish him off, a beam of white light descended on him, and he disappeared. Wu Zhangkong had pulled him out of battle. Although Yang Nyangsha was built the toughest of the three, he was still caught off guard. Unable to strengthen himself in time with soul power, he sustained heavy damage. Tang Wulin's skill forced Wu Sijuo to use Hell White Tiger, but under the bombardment of phantom dragons, her tiger form rapidly lost solidity, a mere flickering illusion by the end. Immediately after, 2 blue fireballs swerved over to Wu Sijuo. Still restricted by the phantom dragons, she failed to put up much of a defense. The arena groaned and shook as the fireballs crashed into her. She screamed. Her Hell White Tiger form faded. Finally, the 3 phantom dragons disappeared as well, but that wasn't the end of the assault against her. She flickered into existence behind Wu Sijuo pressing a dagger to her throat, and a beam of light took her from the arena, marking her elimination. Just as Luo Gixing moved to back up Wu Sijuo, a massive starlight exploded in the sky. Starlight burst. He felt his stomach drop, his instinct screaming danger. Teleport. He had to teleport. It was almost too late. A beam of light descended from the sky and struck the place Luo Gixing had once been. A shockwave tore through the arena, dispersing the poison fog. Yi Xinglan stepped out of a miniature crater, flicking her star god sword to the side nonchalantly with a frown, dissatisfied that she had just missed Luo Gixing. Right before Yang Nyangsha broke free of the phantom dragons, he caught sight of Tang Wulin charging his way, as blazing bolt and claw brandished. The claws of the bear and dragon clashed. A shockwave blasted through the arena. Yang Nyangsha was knocked right into the ground, a crater crumbling around the impact. Even at his greatest, Yang Nyangsha stood no chance against Tang Wulin. The power of the 2 golden rings simply tyrannical. Starlight gathered under Luo Gixing's feet before Yi Xinglan dashed toward him. Poison fog quickly spread their way, but it was too slow. Her sword stopped an inch away from Luo Gixing's chest. That moment marked his elimination. Satisfied, Yi Xinglan disappeared in a silver flash and reappeared at Gu Yue's side. Tang Wulin turned away from Yang Nyangsha, sweeping his gaze through Luo Gixing and Zhang Yuren. Now only Zhang Yuren was left in fighting condition. The entire arena was silent. Back then, Wu Zhangkong had lacked confidence in Tang Wulin's desire to challenge the 3rd grade, but now, he saw a glimmer of hope that this team might reign in glory. Considering their growth over their break, he could see their victory given another year of training. Luo Gixing stared blankly. We lost. It's our total defeat. Yuren is the only one left and they still got a full 5. Even if it was just Gu Yue left, Yuren wouldn't stand a chance. He had never expected such a swift, crushing defeat. He had been confident in his battlefield control skills, but just as his plan had clicked into place, it was smashed to pieces. An unbelievable match. Yue's Heng Yu slowly gulped. I shouldn't challenge Wulin. That guy, he's just. Yuan and Yue's eyes shined fiercely. She had worked harder than ever to grow stronger since her defeat at Tang Wulin's hands, hoping to settle the score the next year. However, she now realized her odds were growing slimmer and slimmer. Just when did he get so strong? She recalled the day she had guarded Tang Wulin. That's probably when he got his second gold ring. Just where does that power come from? His defense is as tough as a defense-type Soul King's. How am I supposed to deal with that? She couldn't forget Tang Wulin's teammates either. While they had felt worried for Tang Wulin when he had been forced into a tight spot, they never lost their cool. The moment Tang Wulin launched his counter-attack, they immediately followed up and turned the tide of battle, tying up loose ends in a blitz and leaving only Zhang Yuren standing. They hadn't gone all out either. For such a team of talents, the future was limitless. It's our loss, Luo Gixing said, a bitter smile on his face. Tang Wulin flashed a smile of his own, his golden scales receding and golden rings fading. He approached Luo Gixing and raised a hand high. With a hint of meekness, Luo Gixing high-fived Tang Wulin. I thought we had caught up to you guys, but the gap has only gotten bigger. Class president, are you even human? A chuckle escaped Tang Wulin. Let's all do our best. We can have another match once we're battle armor masters. Chapter 502, Specialized Cultivation Space. At the mention of a rematch, Luo Gixing slowly nodded. Yeah, I'm down. He wasn't one to admit defeat. His eyes, once dim, blazed with determination once more. But there was no denying that Tang Wulin had changed. He seemed taller and more mature than ever before. He's grown so much in 1 year. For the first time, Luo Gixing was regretting his decision to part ways with Tang Wulin. If he hadn't, perhaps they would still be on the same team. Wu Zhangkong approached them, regarding them silently. All the while the trio of Wu Sijuo, Shu Yicheng, and Yang Nyangsha watched on with sour faces. They were absolutely miserable. Despite their efforts, they had been defeated once again, and this time, it was even more crushing. Wu Sijuo's soul fusion skill had stood no chance against Tang Wulin's team. They're way too strong. Tang Wulin's counter-attack had overwhelmed them all. His burst of power unstoppable. Naturally, Tang Wulin kept the ability of Golden Dragon Tyrant Body secret. He was well aware that such an opportune time to use this skill was rare, and that either way his opponents would meticulously study it for any weaknesses. There was no point in making it any easier for them. In the end, that skill was his lifeline. By achieving victory in this battle, Tang Wulin had gained the absolute confidence of his classmates in the 2nd grade. After consoling the rankers, Tang Wulin regrouped with his teammates and high-fived each and every one of them. In the eyes of the spectators, Tang Wulin's team seemed to have bulldozed their way through their opposition. Tang Wulin knew, however, that they won thanks to both his new soul skill and the surprise it inspired. Luo Gixing had been deceived. The gap between them wasn't as large as he had thought. Luo Gixing's team had 3 soul ancestors after all, but this did not mean victory had been on the table for the rankers. With Yi Xinglan, Tang Wulin, and Shishi's explosive burst of strength supported by Xu Shaowen's crowd control skills, Tang Wulin's team was already an unstoppable force. The addition of Golden Dragon Tyrant Body was just overkill. Tang Wulin hadn't felt an inkling of fear toward Wu Sijuo's soul fusion skill. Shu Yicheng's deadly attacks were also blunted by his frail body. There was no way they could have lost. It looks like he can make a team completely of soul ancestors if he wanted to. That's already better than us. Yue's Heng Yu said to Yuan and Yue. Yuan and Yue remained silent, turning to leave. She knew that they'd be better off not facing the 1st grade this year. Tang Wulin's strength had shook her confidence. Unless she could think of some plan, some ingenious way to exploit any and all openings, her team would struggle to defeat them, especially with the threat of Tang Wulin and Gu Yue's self-fusion skill. Following the end of the match was leisure time for the remainder of the day. Tang Wulin headed straight for the area with specialized cultivation spaces. He would bite the bullet, pay the hefty cost to use one of them. He was curious to see if it would be worth the points. It's 100 points per hour. How many hours do you want? The staff member asked Tang Wulin. Suppressing his miser, Tang Wulin said. Teacher, is it possible to get a discount if I buy hours in bulk? No, the staff member said, almost rolling his eyes. The price is set and won't budge no matter how many hours you buy. Tang Wulin clenched his jaw. I want 1 hour then. Frugal was his nature and he decided to test the waters first before diving straight in, lest it was a waste. What attribute is your martial soul? Plant type. The staff member handed Tang Wuling a green emblem, then pointed to the 7th room on the left. That's your room. Let it scan the emblem and it'll unlock for you. You have 1 hour. If you want to continue using the space while inside, you can tap your student ID on the emblem and it'll automatically deduct points and add more time. You can also just come out here to buy more time. Thank you. Tang Wuling inspected the emblem for a moment, then made his way to the room. He presented the emblem to the door and a light swept over it, scanning it. The door unlocked with a click and slid open. After stepping foot within, Tang Wuling took in the space around him. It was typical. The only thing that seemed a bit out of the ordinary was a flight of stairs at the center leading below. Looks like I gotta go down. He dashed down the stairs, not wanting to waste time. After descending dozens of meters, he finally found himself in a verdant world. Lush plants surrounded him, covering the floors and scaling walls. The space glowed with vitality. He took a deep breath and felt invigorated. He could feel his blue silver grass cheering, eager to bask in the purity of nature. And so he indulged it like a good master, summoning it out and letting the long tendrils crawl and connect with the other plants. The specialized cultivation space wasn't large, only about 10 square meters in area, so even if plants ran thick and free within, Tang Wuling couldn't wrap his head around the vitality in the air. Just how did Shrek do this? As expected of Shrek, not wasting another moment, he weaved a mat of blue silver grass at the center of the room and flopped onto it. He crossed his legs into a pretzel and began to meditate. His spiritual power quivered, stretching to encompass the space around him. It struck him immediately how rich the natural energies in this space were, nearly comparable with those of Sea God's Island. He came to a shocking revelation. The greatest advantage inner court students had over outer court students was access to Sea God's Island, free of charge. Having experienced the boost in cultivation speed Sea God's Island had offered him, Tang Wuling finished evaluating the cultivation space quickly, increasing his cultivation speed by 20%. It was well worth the price paid. Looks like I can't sell off all my medals to Heaven Dou City anymore. I need more points to continue using this room. Though his soul power grew slower than his peers, with the help of a specialized cultivation space, he might reach rank 40 by the end of the second year. By then, the rest of his teammates would surely have reached rank 40 as well. According to Wu Zhangkong, most students didn't become 5 ring soul kings until the end of the 3rd grade. Soul power was easy to cultivate for the first 30 ranks, but the growth speed would slow from there on, and when a soul master reached rank 40, their advancement speed would plummet. This wasn't due to a decrease in soul power growth speed. Rather, the root of the issue lay in the difficulty in compressing soul power. The earlier Tang Wuling reached rank 40, the greater his advantage. He understood just how unique his constitution was. Once he obtained his 4th ring, he could become a 6th rank blacksmith and prepare to advance into a saint blacksmith. Furthermore, his body would be strong enough to equip a full set of one-word battle armor. Rank 40 would be a turning point for him. Chapter 503, earning points. Now that Yizenglen had her 4th ring, Tang Wuling could focus on producing the metals needed for their one-word battle armor pieces. According to his plan, she would create his armor first before moving on to the others. For now, however, Yizenglen would be working on crafting her own gauntlet, because once finished, her success rate would increase and stabilize. So in the meanwhile, Tang Wuling's priority was to get his 4th ring. As long as he had a full set of one-word battle armor, making it into the inner court would be a breeze, especially considering the armor would be made of spirit alloys. Tang Wuling aimed to have 4 rings by the time he turned 16, and by the time he turned 18, a one-word battle armor master. He wanted to be in the running for the inner court once entering the 3rd grade. An hour of cultivation later, Tang Wuling breathed out slowly, pleased by the results. Tranquil and isolated, the cultivation space was perfectly suited for meditation, not to mention the thick natural energy swirling in the air. He finally yielded. Through gritted teeth, Tang Wuling tapped his student ID to the emblem, buying enough time to last him until the next morning. The rest of the night was spent cultivating in the room. He only left briefly for dinner. In one fell swoop, he had spent over 1,000 points. Still, it was necessary. With the arrival of a new semester, Tang Wuling diligently studied in the mornings, using every available sliver of time in the afternoon to cultivate. And he wasn't the only one so studious. The match between Tang Wuling's team and the rankers had roused the 1st grade, sparking their work ethic and determination. None of them wanted to be left behind. Elder Feng, I want to sell some medals to our association for contribution points. Can you help me appraise what I have? Tang Wuling asked. Feng Wuyu, also wanting his disciple to reach rank 40 as soon as possible, had reduced Tang Wuling's blacksmith training to weekly sessions. Of course, he still kept an eye on Tang Wuling's progress. After absorbing Zen Hua's teachings, Tang Wuling saw his 2-metal alloy forging success rate increase significantly. He even managed to forge a 3-metal alloy occasionally, always exceeding expectations. He had Feng Wuyu flustered throughout. You want to sell some alloys? How many you got? Feng Wuyu's eyes shone. Alloys were in high demand with the Blacksmiths Association as well. The alloys Tang Wuling forged were only 1,000 refined, but they could still be reforged twice. They were perfect for 2-word battle armor masters. Tang Wuling brought a hand to his chin, eyes hazy as he stood lost in contemplation. A moment later, he spoke. I've got about 10 pieces each of jade silver, star silver, and gold crystal. Their harmony rates are all between 65 and 80%. 30 pieces. That much? Feng Wuyu's jaw nearly dropped, the way he looked at Tang Wuling changing to something strange. Even a 6th rank blacksmith would have difficulties producing so many spirit alloys in such a short period. Of course, there was a huge difference. Tang Wuling's alloys were 1,000 refined instead of spirit refined. Bring them out for me to see. The association will buy it all. Feng Wuyu rarely forged spirit alloys himself. While Shrek Academy had few high rank blacksmiths, those in its possession were also powerful soul masters. They rarely forged for the sake of money, but students from both inner and outer courts, and even teachers, wanted to buy spirit alloys. Needless to say, the massive demand was left largely unfulfilled. Tang Wuling retrieved all of the medals from his storage ring. Feng Wuyu's gaze sharpened at the sight. The medals pulsated with life, shining splendidly. I really do have a great disciple. I can teach him for now, but he'll surely surpass me soon. He'll reach the peak of blacksmithing. This kid's gonna become a divine blacksmith. They really are all between 65 and 80% harmony. Well, the price will be set according to their harmony rate and alloy type. I'll also give you a bonus 10% from my own pocket since you're selling in bulk. But Feng Wuyu was not aware that Tang Wuling still had another 50 pieces sitting in his storage ring, and those were only the ones he was willing to sell. There were still the pieces he set aside for his friend's battle armors. In the 10 days Tang Wuling had spent training under Zen Hua, he hadn't had to consider the cost of raw materials and had gained quite a bit. Of the remaining alloys in his storage ring, Tang Wuling planned to hand in 20 to the Tang sect. He had gained much from the Tang sect's secret arts and contribution points, so it was only appropriate to repay them. In the future, he planned on returning to Heaven Dou City to sell the remaining 30 medals, since the prices were even more to his favor there. He still needed to save federal credits to buy spirit items. Altogether, I'll pay you 1,635,300 points. I'll transfer them to you directly. I'm rich. Tang Wuling rejoiced. High-level blacksmithing really is lucrative. I can use the cultivation space so many times with that many points, and I can grab anything I need on campus too. I won't have to worry about points for a while. Elder Feng, does Shrek offer driving lessons? I'm thinking about getting a license. Tang Wuling asked. After all he'd been through, riding in a train was far from a pleasant and calm experience. Driving seemed like a better alternative. In fact, anything that didn't involve him being blown up by a terrorist seemed like a better alternative. Fortunately, the distance between Shrek and Heaven Dou City wasn't too far. He could even make a round trip in a single day by leaving early in the morning, but it would be taxing. His weekly day off was perfect for making such trips. I'll refer you to someone. What do you need a car for though? Tang Wuling coughed, averting his eyes slightly. Uncle Master told me to visit him from time to time. Feng Wuyu snorted at the mention of Zen Hua, but didn't say more. In the end, Zen Hua was still a divine blacksmith. All right. Get your license then, and once you've got some money, you can move on to piloting a mecha. I know a guy who can help you register with the Federation and get a flight-capable mecha permit. A mecha? Tang Wuling asked, doubtful. He wanted to become a battle armor master, not a mecha pilot. You idiot. There's no reason you can't have both a mecha and battle armor, Feng Wuyu said as he smacked Tang Wuling on the head. Tang Wuling's thoughts ran wild. That's right. Mechas and battle armor don't conflict at all. I can keep my battle armor inside of me until I need it and pilot a mecha whenever else. Mechas are a good defense too. The image of Luon's black-grade mecha was still vividly emblazoned in his mind. It was fast as a bullet, yet remained steady throughout its flight. As they flew through the skies, they peered down upon the flitting landscape with disdain. Gods among ants. He hadn't considered the possibility of becoming both a mecha pilot and battle armor master. His thinking had been too inflexible, but Feng Wuyu was correcting that now. On the battlefield, a mecha is your first line of defense. Although powerful mechas can't compare with battle armor, they still have their own advantages. Mechas are the most efficient way to utilize the pilot's soul power no matter the environment. The strongest of battle armor masters recognize this, so they're also mecha pilots themselves. You kids should be taking a mecha piloting class this year. Don't sleep on it. Yes. Thank you for your reminder, teacher, Tang Wuling said, slightly lowering his head. If not for Feng Wuyu's words, he wouldn't have bothered to pay attention in the piloting class. He had enough on his plate as it was. Feng Wuyu had him sold. With both battle armor and a mecha, he'd be a fortress. Looks like I need to build myself a mecha now too. Chapter 504, to buy a car or mecha? There were many important differences between battle armor and mechas. While battle armor used a soul master's soul power, mechas had their own power sources. Battle armors were far more powerful than mechas, but mechas were extremely energy efficient. They were also much cheaper than battle armor. Tang Wuling already knew the basics of manufacturing a mecha, but that didn't mean he could. In order to make one, he would have to forge loads of metals and acquire other components and circuit cores, all of which would cost a hefty sum. Only after doing that could he begin making a mecha. Feng Wuyu's words had opened a door in Tang Wuling's mind. We have an association just for mechas here at Shrek. You can just give them the raw materials and have them make a mecha for you. It won't be cheap, but I think you might as well just skip buying a car and go straight for a mecha. Feng Wuyu said, delivering temptation with every word. Once you get a flight permit, you'll be able to zoom around the continent in your mecha. It'll be more taxing on you than just driving, but you won't even notice. Tang Wuling grew feverish with excitement. That makes sense. Piloting a mecha is way cooler than driving. Screw it. I want a mecha. I'm gonna get my own. I actually got a list of quotes from the Mecha Association. Feng Wuyu said, handing a tablet over to Tang Wuling. Take a look. Tang Wuling took one look at the screen and his eyes glazed over. He had just made over 1.6 million contribution points. He started considering himself quite rich, but the prices for commissioning mechas brought him back to reality. Yellow grade mechas cost 1 million points, and purple grade cost 9 million. Wait, black grade are 30 million, and I'd have to bring my own materials and blueprints? Holy shit. No wonder Luon's so broke. This is practically robbery. Tang Wuling gulped and looked back to Feng Wuyu. You know what? I think I'll go with the car after all. It's, more practical. Feng Wuyu chuckled. Mechas are much cheaper if you bring your own materials. You just have to go to the association in person to find out just how much cheaper. In any case, I'm only telling you this is a possibility. Whether or not you go through with it is up to you. Just keep forging and you'll make plenty of contribution points. Once you become 6th rank blacksmith, a purple grade mecha will be easily obtainable. A purple mecha would serve your purposes fine. In fact, even a yellow mecha would be far faster than a car. You could buy one of those right now if you wanted. Tang Wuling froze. Right, I just need a mecha to get around. I don't need the most powerful one. I won't be using it for battle just yet, but I can still practice piloting. Tang Wuling grinded his teeth, staring at the 1.6 million points on his card. It was an agonizing decision to make, but he knew he had already decided. At the Mecha Association, a man called Jiang Yang manned the reception desk. Visitors rarely came by, so he was just sitting there idly. He had only taken this part-time job to make some pocket money. He was a 5th grade student, 26 years of age, and his soul power was at rank 51. However, he had yet to complete a full set of one-word battle armor. He was still missing a few circuit cores. Unlike his first year at Shrek Academy, Jiang Yang didn't feel any pressure to work hard. It was already impossible for him to enter the inner court, but he was on track to graduate from the outer court, merely a step away. At Shrek Academy, grades 1 through 3 were the most stressful times of a student's life. Everyone would be at least 20 years old at the end of those 9 years. They had to become one-word battle armor masters before then if they wanted to make it into the inner court. After turning 20, however, any hope of entering the inner court was gone, so they could take it easy. They just had to become a battle armor master in the next 9 years to fulfill graduation requirements. A fairly easy task by that point. Graduating from the outer court was also an achievement to be proud of. Jiang Yang was the embodiment of this mindset. Senioritis had already begun to take root in him. Graduating from Shrek Academy would be enough to land him a job as chief of security for a mega corporation. He just had to finish his battle armor then wait to graduation. Even so, after spending so many years at Shrek Academy, he was reluctant to leave. Once an outer court student left the academy, they would never be able to return to cultivate, so he decided to enjoy the remainder of his time here. He only needed 2 more pieces to complete his battle armor. He had the foundation for them ready and could have them made at any moment, but he chose to prolong his time here. I'll break through in the next 3 months. Jiang Yang sighed. He knew he wasn't that young anymore. He was 26 years old. It was about time for him to get married and start a career. Yet the thought of leaving filled him with doubt once more. He wasn't ready to move on with his life yet. The doorbell chimed and someone walked in, a boy in his teens. He had large, clear eyes that bewitched even a fellow male like Jiang Yang. It was Tang Wuling. Hello, senior brother. He said, hey, junior brother, what can I help you with? You want to join the Mecha Association? Jiang Yang asked, going through his usual script. The Mecha Association was actually the most unpopular association at Shrek Academy since every student was aiming to become a battle armor master. In Jiang Yang's mind, the Mecha Association only continued to exist because the academy was protecting it. It only had 20 members. It was awful. Just as Jiang Yang expected, Tang Wuling shook his head. The only people who joined were those who still held on to childhood dreams of mechas. Senior brother, I want to commission a custom yellow grade mecha. Jiang Yang nearly fell out of his seat, eyes wide. What did you just say? I want to commission a custom yellow grade mecha. Tang Wuling repeated. Junior brother, do you know how much a yellow grade mecha costs? 1 million points. Not 100,000. 1 million. Despite all the years he spent at Shrek Academy, Jiang Yang hadn't saved up anywhere near 1 million points. That didn't mean that yellow mechas were luxurious items though. Yes, I know. Tang Wuling took out his student card and handed it to Jiang Yang. I have enough points to pay for it. Holy shit. Jiang Yang gulped when he saw over 1.6 million points display on Tang Wuling's card. He could barely suppress the impulse to ask if he had just robbed the administrative office. He knew such a thing was impossible. Oh, okay then, Jiang Yang said. Please fill out this form. After that we'll go take your measurements. These measurements were needed to construct a cockpit that was perfect for Tang Wuling, all to optimize the ergonomics within the mecha and his piloting efficiency. I want a long-range attack type mecha, Tang Wuling said, listing his requirements. I want to focus on saving energy. The armor can be light. I want some powerful energy cores too. It needs to be able to stay operational for long periods of time. Jiang Yang worked at the Mecha Association because he was a mecha fanatic to begin with. He couldn't help but furrow his brow when Tang Wuling finished listing all his requirements. Junior brother, the type of mecha you're describing is what we call a brittle skin mecha. Long-range mechas obviously don't do well in close combat to begin with, and on top of that, you want light armor. If we make your mecha like that and it takes a single hit, its energy core could explode. That's dangerous and could even be fatal. That's fine, Tang Wuling replied. That's exactly what I want. Oh, right. If I provide the necessary metals, how much of a discount can I get? The price would drop down to 480,000 points. Jiang Yang said. The metals need to be high quality though. Great. Let's go with that. Chapter 505, 10 tons of star iron. It didn't take long for Jiang Yang to jot down Tang Wuling's basic measurements. That's 174 centimeters and 66 kilograms. Pretty good for his age. Many things had to be considered in the mecha's design, including Tang Wuling's age and build, and the fact that he was still in the middle of puberty. It took a full 2 hours to adjust the design after taking more specific measurements. You'll need to pay 100,000 points as a down payment. If you decide later on that you no longer want a mecha, well, tough luck. No refunds. The final design will be done in about 10 days. After you go over it and give your approval, bring the materials and we'll start on your mecha. Jiang Yang said. Tang Wuling nodded. He paid the down payment and left. Once he stepped foot outside the Mecha Association, Tang Wuling let out a long sigh. This was his biggest purchase to date. His hands still shook and he locked them together to stop the shaking, but he understood why a mecha was so necessary, so important. He'd be a fortress with both a mecha and a set of battle armor. He'd save a lot of energy this way too. It went without saying that the best battle armor masters individually rocked a mecha. That was the mindset Tang Wuling must adopt if he wanted to justify the purchase. Buying a mecha simply for transport wasn't going to cut it, especially since it used more energy to operate than a car. Still, there was another reason he purchased a mecha. The most important reason. This way, once piloting classes started, Tang Wuling would have his own mecha to practice with. It'd save him money in the long run. Otherwise, he would be forced to rent one from Shrek Academy, and the rental added up and wasn't cheap. After considering that, he decided it was better to just bite the bullet, buy his own. Generally, the lower-tier white mechas could be made from simple cast metal and were mass-produced. In fact, even yellow-grade mechas contained parts made of cast metal. Tang Wuling naturally refused to stoop to such a level. While he had asked for his mecha to be made with light armor, the thinness of the armor wouldn't matter if he used 1,000 refined metals. With his current skill, he could 1,000 refine the metal needed for an entire mecha in a short 10 days. You want how much star iron? The hell are you going to do with all that? Blurted Yue's Hangyu, eyes wide as he stared at Tang Wuling. A sly grin played across Tang Wuling's face. You don't have to worry about that. Just tell me if you have enough or not. Yue's Hangyu gulped. 10 tons of star iron is a lot, you know? That's over 10 million credits of metal. Well, I'll trade you some spirit alloys for them. I've already paid you 4 pieces of jade silver, each over 85% in harmony rate. According to your armor design, you should need 7 more. If you get me the star iron, then you won't have to pay me any money for the remaining pieces of jade silver, and I guarantee to finish them within 3 months. How about it? Deal. Yue's Hangyu grabbed Tang Wuling's hand and forcefully shook it. On paper, Yue's Hangyu was the loser of the deal. He was already tasked with supplying Tang Wuling the raw materials, and now 10 tons of star iron on top of that, all for about a dozen pieces of jade silver. But the guarantee of so many pieces over an 85% harmony rate within 3 months was well worth the price. When Yue's Hangyu obtained his 4th ring, he came to an agreement with Yuan and Yui to help each other craft battle armors. He was 16 years old, just 4 years shy of 20. Even so, he was anxious to become a one-word battle armor master. The more materials he had, the higher his chances of success. Furthermore, jade silver with an 85% harmony rate could be reforged 5 times. Failing once or twice wouldn't be much of an issue. I can't supply you with 10 tons immediately. It'll have to be in batches. I can deliver it all within half a month. Yue's Hangyu said. Sure. No problem. Hey. Wuling, what have you been so busy with lately? I never see you around, Shishi asked, grabbing her halfway out the door Tang Wuling by the sleeve. Tang Wuling's schedule had been packed lately and he rarely returned to the dormitory. Shishi only managed to see him in class. Tang Wuling cracked a mysterious smile. It's a secret. You'll find out soon enough though. Oh right. I wanted to remind you guys that the optional mecha piloting classes start next week. It's 2 hours long starting every afternoon at 3. We need to all learn how to pilot properly. Shishi narrowed his eyes, taken aback. What are we learning to pilot for? We're aiming to become battle armor masters. Standing right beside them, Shulizzy chimed in. Wuling's right. We gotta learn how to pilot. We can use mechas and battle armor at the same time. There's no reason not to. Doubt creeped into Shishi's heart, but he pushed it down and shook his head. I'm good. I'm an agility type. It'd be weird to use a mecha. I don't have the extra energy to invest in it anyway. It's better for me to just focus on using my speed better. In the few weeks since classes started, Shishi had been training under Liang Xiaoyu every afternoon. He made rapid progress, but the exercises exhausted him afterward. Shulizzy groaned. Man, I feel bad with how little I'm doing compared to you guys. I really gotta put in effort into mecha piloting. Well, it'll be fine if you don't learn, Shishi. A mecha can seat 2 people anyway. Shishi smirked. Huh, you're gonna carry me. What a good friend. Shulizzy shook his head, smirking. As if. I'll take big sis England. I don't think she's gonna learn how to pilot either. Wow. I can't believe you're putting girls before brothers. Shulizzy chuckled. Well, I'm not the one sweeping the floor, wiping the windows, and drawing water for a girl every day. A fatty like me has gotta be a bit lazy. Can't be acting so whipped like a certain someone. You damn fatty. You trying to start shit? I'll whip your ass. Shishi said, shaking his fist. Tang Wuling couldn't help but crack a wry smile. Don't bully Lizzie. It's not like anything he said was a lie. And since we're talking about it, how are things going with you and Yuanan? Shishi instantly deflated like a balloon. Nothing is going. She still hasn't responded to my confession. Jeez. Do you think it's easy for me to do all those chores for her every day? I'm working myself to death here. Tang Wuling patted Shishi on the shoulder. Just persevere. Who knows what rewards your efforts will bring? Shishi balled his hands into fists. That's not enough. She's way too strong. There's no way I've got a chance unless I can surpass her. I have to devote myself to getting stronger than her. At Shishi's serious expression, Tang Wuling couldn't help but snicker. Good luck then. The gap between Shishi and Yuan and Yui was by no means small. With the matter settled, Tang Wuling ran off to clear the rest of his daily objectives. His schedule really left no wiggle room. After morning classes, he 1,000 refined star iron for 3 hours. Then came dinner and a night of cultivation in a specialized cultivation space. When morning came, he would cultivate his purple demon eyes. Rinse and repeat. It was only natural that his friends rarely saw him, but Tang Wuling wasn't the only one in such a rush. The rest of his team were hard at work cultivating and studying too. The first 3 years at Shrek Academy were always the most stressful. What? Why do you need more money? Tang Wuling asked Zhang Yang, his face sour. Junior brother, you're too great. You'll actually bring out a pile of 1,000 refined metal just for a yellow mecha. Don't you know this is harder to craft with than normal metal? The Mecha Association will be taking a loss if we don't charge you more. Well, it'll be fine to build the frame like this, but the most important part of the circuit cores, you're giving us 1,000 refined heavy silver to make those. In order to do that, we need to carve inscriptions and whatnot into the metal. But you know that this heavy silver is 5 times harder than ordinary metals, right? All you need to pay is an extra 300,000 points. It's not that much more, Zhang Yang said earnestly. Zhang Yang had been dumbstruck when Tang Wuling took out several tons of 1,000 refined metals. The armor wouldn't have to be that thick when constructed from 1,000 refined star iron, which was among the toughest of metals. A top-tier mecha was guaranteed to be made from such high-quality materials. In fact, such materials would be luxurious even for a purple-grade mecha. Zhang Yang couldn't comprehend why Tang Wuling was using such expensive metals just for a yellow-grade mecha. But Tang Wuling's reasoning was simple. He wanted a durable mecha. You really should go for a purple-grade mecha instead, urged Zhang Yang. Yet Tang Wuling just laughed. You're joking, right? It cost 9 million points to commission a purple-grade mecha. Even if he supplied the raw materials, it would still be at least 4 million. No way he could afford that. To begin with, he didn't need this mecha for combat. He only planned on using it for practice and getting around. The extra functionality of a purple mecha would be useless to him, and he'd rather just skip to buying a black-grade mecha in the future when he had the money. A yellow-grade mecha would do in the meantime. Chapter 506, Everyone's Brother-in-Law. After he had haggled over the price for the mecha, Tang Wuling managed to bring it down to 280,000 points. It had still pained him to part with the points, though he could bear it. 2 months and his mecha would be finished. But a week later and his piloting classes were about to begin. I'll sign up for the afternoon class, Xu Shaoan said when the topic of the optional mecha piloting class came up. Her eyes shone with interest. In the end, the only people from Tang Wuling's team to take the class were him, Shulizzy, and Xu Shaoan. The other 3 decided to spend their time elsewhere. Gu Yue was still busy as usual, disappearing for the spirit pagoda every afternoon and only returning for dinner, often with a bundle of food, which he'd give to Tang Wuling without a word. Once, Tang Wuling had tried to share some of the food with Shishi and Shulizzy, but Gu Yue had stared him down into submission. In complete silence, Shulizzy and Shishi had ran for their lives, tails tucked between their legs. Since then, it became a known fact that her food was meant for Tang Wuling and Tang Wuling only. You want to learn how to pilot? Gu Yue asked, tilting her head. Tang Wuling nodded. I'm gonna give it a shot. It's not like mechas and battle armors conflict with each other. If I can use both, then I'll be even stronger. Safer too. And don't forget, my goal is to join the army. They mainly use mechas in the army, so if I don't even know the basics of piloting, what sort of position could I get my hands on? Okay. I'm just worried that you might be wasting your time, Gu Yue said. A smile tugged at the corner of Tang Wuling's mouth. I'll be fine. When I was a kid, I dreamed about being a mecha pilot. I never even thought about becoming a battle armor master, or even knew what one was. I was born in a small, backwater town. That's what all the boys there dreamed about, to soar through the skies in a mecha, free as a bird. Gu Yue giggled. Sure, it's up to you. Class is dismissed, Shenyi declared from behind the lectern. She left for the teacher's door, but stopped upon opening it. Her eyes went wide. Hello, teacher, said a beautiful, silver-haired girl. Shenyi schooled her features back in order. Naya. What are you doing here? Did you need me for something? Naya shook her head and pointed a finger past Shenyi, a huge smile blossoming on her face. Shenyi followed the finger, frantically racking her brain as to why the direct disciple of the Sea God Pavilion Master would be here. Naya was known as the #1 genius in the inner court, raised under the direct and meticulous care of Sea God's Pavilion. The fact that her talent earned the notice of the Pavilion Master was testament to her status as a peak prodigy. Who could she be looking for in the first grade? Does she actually know someone here? Shenyi finally stepped back from the doorway and out of the way. She was curious to see who was acquainted with the little princess of the inner court. Naya's figure stood out clearly upon the backdrop. A single glance and the entire first grade froze, enchanted by her adorable smile. Eyes widening, they felt their heartbeats quicken, mind wandering the universe, lost in the wispy nebula. How a girl their age could be so dazzling and ethereal they would never know. Naturally, Tang Wuling was among the crowd that saw her. He approached her, unfazed by her beauty. Naya, what are you doing here? The second those words left his lips, the entire class looked his way. She, the only other person beside Tang Wuling who had met Naya before, glanced nervously at Yu Yue, subconsciously taking a few steps back. Naya latched onto Tang Wuling's arm. Big brother, can't I come just because I miss you? Oh, is this what your classroom looks like? She said as her eyes wandered around. This place is huge. You know, it took me a super long time to find this place. Murmurs swept through the room. Big brother, is she his little sister? Damn. She's the class president's little sister. Quick as an arrow, Yang Nyangsha rushed forward from the crowd, the picture of naive enchantment. Beautiful lady, my name is Yang Nyangsha. I'm a good friend of the class president. Tang Wuling rolled his eyes. Since when were we good friends? This guy sure knows how to bluff. Naya gave a slight bow and a gentle smile. Hi, I'm Naya. Luo Gixing appeared in a silver flash beside Tang Wuling. Hi Naya, I'm Luo Gixing, he said, revealing his best nobleman smile. This guy actually teleported here. Tang Wuling could hardly believe what was happening. Hello, Naya said politely. The rest of the male students snapped out of their stupor as well and rushed forward to introduce themselves. Barely at the cusp of adulthood, these boys knew not the meaning of restraint. Naya was just too charming. Her gentle beauty, tender smiles, and kindness were nothing like they had ever encountered. She greeted each and every one of them with sweetness. Before her, all enraptured fools. That's enough you guys. We're going. Tang Wuling peeled his classmates off Naya and pulled her away. Yang Nyangsha's expression grew stern as he watched the two leave. From today onward, class president is my big brother. I'll do my best to make him my brother-in-law. As if. Someone scoffed. You're shameless. No way. He's going to be my brother-in-law, not yours. As the boys argued, Shenyi glanced at the door Tang Wuling and Naya had just left through. She still couldn't comprehend what she had just witnessed. Big brother. Naya is Wuling's little sister. They don't look anything alike though. Before long, Tang Wuling led Naya all the way to Spirit Ice Plaza. Geez. You sure are popular, Naya, he said, scratching his chin as he looked at his cute little sister. Naya wasn't just popular with the first grade students. During their stroll, she had attracted many gazes from students of the upper grades. But since Tang Wuling had been pulling her by the arm, they only sent envious glares at him from afar. Naya giggled. You don't like that? I won't visit your classroom next time then. We'll just set a place for our next date. She placed a finger on her chin. Well, I'm busy cultivating most of the time, so I can only come out once a week. How about from now on we meet up on this day of the week for every week? 3 in the afternoon. You can take me out for food. Sounds good. Tang Wuling rubbed her head, affection in his eyes. What do you feel like eating today? I'll let you decide. Either way, I'll eat anything you throw at me. Tang Wuling chuckled. Let's go then. Whenever Tang Wuling was in Naya's presence, he always felt in a good mood and did his best to pamper her. It reminded him of his childhood, of simple times with his family. Reuniting with her had thawed his lonely heart and lifted some of the pressure weighing heavily on his shoulders. He spent the entire afternoon with Naya. He did not cultivate until evening in a rented cultivation space. Tang Wuling left for class early the next morning. The moment he entered the classroom, he felt that something was off. In an instant, over half of the boys rushed over to him and bowed deeply. Good morning, big brother. Tang Wuling blinked twice as he took in the side of their groveling. What the hell is going on? Get away from me. You guys are way too close, he said, rushing to his usual seat. Big brother, I got you some water. One of the boys said. Have some snacks, big brother. Another boy said. Enough of that. Tang Wuling rubbed his face furiously in his palms, trying to escape from reality. Big brother, when is Naya visiting again? How about we go out for some food together next time she comes? What do you mean go out? Came the sound of Guyue's voice, stern and chilly, cold enough to freeze. In one swift motion she shot up from her seat, a rampaging blizzard upon the boys crowding Tang Wuling. Chapter 507, Naya is just my little sister. The tension in the air was thick enough to carve into. Whipping ferociously around Guyue were elemental energies, her eyes glowing as she glared holes through the male students. Even Tang Wuling felt suffocated just by being next to her. Damn. Is this Guyue's true power? Tang Wuling wasn't blind to the fact that Guyue held back during their matches. In fact, he knew he wasn't a match for her in one-on-one combat, and this confirmed it. Guyue's sudden flare of anger and might stunned everyone, including Wisujuo who had just walked into the classroom. Doesn't she still only have 3 rings? How is she so powerful? Guyue, they're just joking, Tang Wuling said, tugging her hand. She brushed his hand away, eyes remaining cold. Whatever. She sat back down, stone-faced. What's going on with her? Tang Wuling leaned towards Shishi and whispered, did you make her mad again? Shishi clicked his tongue, fighting down a retort. On his other side, Xu Shaoan hid her twitching lips with a carefully placed hand, nearly bursting into laughter. Xu Lizzie was the most honest of them, simply pointing at Tang Wuling himself. Huh? What about me? Tang Wuling tilted his head. What did I do? I didn't even see Guyue at all yesterday. Shishi covered his face with a hand. Ugh. Boss, you just don't understand girls, do you? What? I don't get it. What are you talking about? Say things more clearly, Tang Wuling said. Tang Wuling, I have something to ask you. Guyue cut in, grabbing him by the arm and forcibly turning him to face her. What's up? Tang Wuling asked, still bewildered. That girl from yesterday is your little sister, right? Are you two related by blood? Guyue stared him down with the intensity of a storm. Yep. She's my sister. We might not be blood related, but we might as well be. I picked her up off the streets when we were children and my family adopted her. And she's just a sister to you. Guyue asked, her nails digging into his arm, leaving little red marks. Then it struck him. He could hardly believe the absurdity of the situation. What's it have to do with you? Jealous? Tang Wuling smirked. Don't worry. No matter how pretty my little sister is, she's still just my little sister. Besides, she's still only 12. He swept his gaze through the rest of the boys. So you guys better not even think about touching her, unless you want to get beaten to death. She's only 12. Goddamn, she's pretty though. Yang Nyangsha exclaimed. Tang Wuling shot a glare at him. My bad, class president, but it's okay. I'm willing to wait. I'll wait until she's 18. Wait all you want then. Let's see if you guys got what it takes by then. Let me remind you all though, she's not just another student here. She's from the inner court. If you guys want a shot, you better give it your all. Tang Wuling beamed. Holy shit. The inner court. No wonder she's here so young. She was actually an inner court student. Class president, you're too much. This kind of encouragement is just... Damn it, I don't care anymore. I'll work myself to death to make it into the inner court. That's enough now guys. Class is about to start, Tang Wuling said, calming and dispersing the crowd. From the corner of his eye, he saw Wu Zhangkong enter the classroom. Then he glanced at Guyue. Her expression was much better and she sat prim and proper, as if she hadn't been about to raise hell a few minutes ago. Tang Wuling nudged her shoulder, giving her a coy smile. So you're jealous, huh? Go away. She rolled her eyes. Tang Wuling chuckled and shook his head. Geez. Just all you kids got your minds in the gutter. We're still too young for that kind of stuff. We should be focusing on our studies and cultivation instead. In case you haven't realized, we're not even 15 yet. Screw off. What's it matter to you what I've got on my mind? Fine, fine. Do whatever. Tang Wuling retreated, stifling more laughter. Behind the lectern, Wu Zhangkong felt a strange mood in the air. He stood there, astonished to see the atypical side of his students more focused than usual, absorbing each and every one of his words like a sponge. It made the lesson seem like it passed by quickly. For anyone who signed up for this afternoon's mecha classes, make sure you're not late. That's it for today, said Wu Zhangkong. Class dismissed. He made for the door and left. Tang Wuling stood up and stretched, his mind turning to the afternoon. He knew the basics of mecha piloting, and it had been more difficult than he had imagined. Fortunately, as a soul master with vigorous blood essence, he could bear the physical burden. Du Yue, let's go grab lunch together, Tang Wuling said. Okay. He turned to the others. Hey Shishi, Xiaoan, Xinglin, Lizzie, let's all go together. I'm good. I gotta go visit the Tang sect in the afternoon, so I'll just eat there. Shishi answered swiftly. Shu Lizzie scratched his cheek. I can't either. I've got some stuff to handle with Big Sis Xinglin. You guys go ahead. Sorry. I need to go study. I got an important mecha designing class in the evening, so I'm just gonna get a quick bite then go review the class notes. I have to cram it all in during lunch since we got piloting class in the afternoon. Shu Xiaoan said. They're all ditching me. Tang Wuling was speechless. Left with no other option, he left for the dining hall with just Du Yue. What are you feeling? I'll get it for you, Tang Wuling said. Anything's fine. Du Yue answered sweetly, not a trace of the morning's fury in sight. While Tang Wuling inhaled plate after plate of food, Du Yue watched patiently, having long since finished her own meal. When he finally finished, she took out a napkin and wiped clean his mouth. There was no hesitation, as if she had done this thousands of times before, but Tang Wuling was still taken aback. Let's get going. You need some time to digest and you got piloting class in the afternoon, right? Du Yue said as she stood up and made for the exit. Is she feeling the pressure? Tang Wuling broke into a huge grin. He rose to his feet and quickly caught up with her, walking shoulder to shoulder back to their dormitory. The working student dormitory was quiet, unoccupied. Only Yuan and Yui's door and curtains were closed. As soon as Tang Wuling reached the door of his room, he glanced back, grabbing Du Yue's sleeve before she could leave. Du Yue, do you have something to say to me? No, she said. Voice flat, deadpan. Tang Wuling flashed a smile. I'm telling you, Nai really is just my little sister. Du Yue's eyes flicked back to him momentarily, settling through his face. Remember those words. Then she left for her own room, the door shutting with a click behind her. Tang Wuling rubbed his nose. He had watched every action of hers without averting his gaze, from her opening the door to her closing it. After meditating for a bit, he made his way to the mecha piloting class. Before Tang Wuling knew it, a few days had passed and his third mecha piloting class was about to begin. Like previously, it was held in a custom field located in the southwest corner of the campus. 15 first-grade students were assembled in a neat row on the piloting field, eager for their lesson to start. Their teacher was a tall, middle-aged man named Duan Shang. Good afternoon, teacher, the students said under Tang Wuling's lead. Duan Shang gave a slight nod. We'll be continuing with fundamental pilot drills today. Now then, get into your mechas and get on the comms channel. Yes. The students ran to their white-grey training mechas. Each one stood a good 12 meters tall and weighed over 10 tons. They had no equipment and only medium armor. At the chest region of each mecha slid open a door, giving the students a way into the cockpits. Inside, Tang Wuling pressed a series of buttons with practiced movements and started it up. The breastplate cockpit door closed. He strapped on a helmet while metal rings fastened his limbs in place. In front of his hands were a pair of small keyboards that allowed for small adjustments to optimize mecha operations. Although modern mechas were operated from circuit cores amplifying and translating pilots' movements into information understood by the mecha, actions of a more fine-tuned nature still relied on a technology of days past. The keyboard. Unit 1 connected to channel, Tang Wuling said after flicking a switch. A moment later, all 15 students reported in on the comms channel. Good. Now let's get started, Duan Shang said. First, always remember that balance is crucial to mecha piloting. By the end of this course, you'll be operating mechas like they're an extension of your body. So then, how do you make your mecha move nimbly? His own mecha shrugged, unlike appendages unfurling sideways in a wave. Well, you have to be nimble yourself to begin with. Then you have to project yourself onto the mecha. Understand what it's like to have a 10-meter tall body made of a dozen tons of metal. The operation systems installed are really sensitive. The slightest mistake will be reflected, hidden in the safety of their cockpits. Several of the students fidgeted nervously. So, the very foundation of this is balance. Now follow after me. Raise your left leg. Chapter 508, Mecha Piloting. The students were just beginning to learn how to pilot, so starting with the fundamentals was crucial. Even for Tang Wuling, with his superb physical abilities, he needed 2 classes before he could properly balance in a mecha. All right. Teacher Duan said I need to imagine myself being as huge as the mecha, then I need to find my balance. Tang Wuling was also only student who didn't fall over during their first session. Mecha piloting was strenuous and deliberate work. Even the slightest twitch in the pilot's muscles would be reflected in the mecha's movements. The pilot had to maintain absolute control over every muscle to control the mecha properly. For example, a single muscle going taut in the arm would cause the mecha's arm to move as well. If they were shooting a soul cannon, that would affect their shot's trajectory. Piloting was a practice of controlling one's own body. This control was the foundation required of any hopeful pilot. Good. That's enough drills now. Does anyone want to volunteer to demonstrate some more advanced movements? You kids can choose whatever you want, Duan Shang said through the comms channel. Tang Wuling's mecha did a little hop. Teacher Duan, let me do it. Okay. Come over here, Duan Shang said as his mecha pedaled backward to the center of the field. His expectations were high for Tang Wuling, class president of the first grade. In all his years of teaching piloting, Tang Wuling was the first class president to sign up. Generally, all class presidents had a solid chance of making it into the inner court, so they spent all their time on either making battle armor or cultivating. Tang Wuling, on the other hand, signed up for the class and attended with genuine enthusiasm. He had a talent for piloting too. With his powerful body, he quickly progressed. Duan Shang couldn't be more satisfied with him. This was their third class of the semester, yet Tang Wuling had already fully grasped how to balance and basic mecha maneuvers. If he kept this pace, he would be able to pilot a yellow grade mecha within a year. He truly had a talent for this. Tang Wuling lifted a leg and made his mecha take a step forward, ever so slowly. Then he took another, and another, onward to the center of the field. Excellent. Your balance is really good, Duan Shang said. When Tang Wuling finally reached the center, he let out a deep breath and calmed his nerves. His senses were spread outward, his spiritual power encompassing the entire mecha. Become one with the mecha, one with the mecha. He raised his arm and lifted a leg, then brought them back in, slowly and steadily. Not a bit of impatience could be found in his body. These basic movements were no issue for him, but he couldn't neglect practicing the fundamentals, especially as a fledgling pilot. Even so, he went through the routine quickly, already quite skilled after a few piloting sessions. His mecha took half a step over its left foot with its right, crossing them. It twisted its body as its left leg fell back. A concise turn. The mecha wobbled, slightly off kilter, but Tang Wuling swiftly reined it in and continued walking around the field, making small circles and tight turns from time to time. His mecha moved far quicker than in the beginning, but it was still by no means fast. He quickly picked up momentum, the mecha's movements becoming more and more fluid. Duan Shang narrowed his eyes, watching in disbelief. Tang Wuling's maneuvers weren't too complex, but they were concise and perfectly suited for dodging attacks by a hair's breadth. But most importantly, his footwork was highly irregular. Without any sort of rhythm, it would be hard for enemies to hit him with attacks. This kid's got potential. His footwork might be too direct, but he's only a beginner. He's genius at this. Tang Wuling was completely immersed in piloting. He was doing his best to display a watered-down version of the ghost shadow perplexing step with his mecha. However, mechas were far larger than humans and had a different joint physiology which made it impossible to perfectly replicate the technique. Despite the limitations, this practice brought him closer to acting as one with the mecha. My mecha's going to be done soon. I'll be able to practice a lot more then. Mechas were the culmination of modern technology while battle armors were the fusion of technology and soul masters. The two were different and had their own paths. Tang Wuling had loved mechas since he was a boy. Just the thought of having his own mecha got his blood boiling. Tang Wuling soon finished his performance and Duan Shang showered him with praise before ending class. After leaving the mecha field, Tang Wuling returned to the dormitory to go shower before going cultivating for the night when he ran into someone unexpected. Go Xiaoshu was waiting for him. Hello, Tang Wuling said, unsure of how else to address the man. Go Xiaoshu smiled kindly. Come with me. I have some things to talk to you about. He led the way out. Tang Wuling was happy to oblige. Go Xiaoshu was one of the higher-ups of the Tang sect, and Tang Wuling owed a lot to the sect. Without the mysterious heaven method, he wouldn't have been able to cultivate faster and make it into Shrek Academy. He also knew about Shishi joining the agility hall to learn from Lian Xiaoyu. Are they looking for me to specially train me too? The image of the profound depth of Go Xiaoshu's eyes flickered into his mind and excitement bubbled up. Go Xiaoshu led Tang Wuling to the middle of a forest before stopping. Hello, Wuling. I'll be speaking on behalf of the Tang sect today. His kind smile set into sullenness. Yes. Tang Wuling's nodded with resoluteness. Do you have any interest in entering the Tang sect's inner halls and joining the battle hall? Battle hall? Tang Wuling asked. He didn't have much knowledge about the inner halls. Dou Xiaoshu nodded. The battle hall is the very core of the Tang sect. You could say that it's the very reason we nurture talents for. At the same time, it is also the hall that bears the greatest responsibility, taking on the most important and dangerous missions. If you join the battle hall, there's a good chance you'll encounter some particularly tough enemies in the future. But as a member of the battle hall, you would have the sect's full backing, and we would do our best to help you grow. We've been keeping an eye on your growth and achievements. You have a firm foundation, are highly talented, and possess unheard of blood essence soul rings. Under Wu Zhangkong's recommendation, we're inviting you to join the battle hall. Whether you join or not is up to you. Tang Wuling had heard mentions of the battle hall, enforcement hall, and holy hall before, but he only knew a bit about them. He knew that the enforcement hall dealt with upholding the sect's rules and punishing rule breakers, and that the holy hall only admitted exceptionally powerful soul masters. But he didn't have any idea what the battle hall did. General Manager Go, could you possibly tell more about the battle hall first? Chapter 509, White Agent of the Battle Hall. Dou Xiaoshu bluntly said, there's not much I can tell you. Battle hall is the core of the Tang sect. Until you join us, everything is classified. What I can tell you, however, is that this world is not fair. Evil lurks in the shadows and there are many problems the Federation can't handle by itself. The battle hall is the one that takes care of those matters. We don't brag about our exploits. We simply defend the weak and destroy evil. One of our biggest enemies are evil soul masters. A shiver ran down Tang Wuling's spine as his mind flashed back to Mo Lan in a coma. She was fortunate to have recovered, but would never be able to act as a train conductor anymore due to the lingering effects. Now she resigned herself to working in an office. No matter how many rewards the Federation showered her with, the damage done to her was irreversible. Tang Wuling had witnessed with his own eyes just how little regard evil soul masters held for life. I'll join, Tang Wuling answered, his thoughts only serving to solidify his decision. Throughout its long history, the Tang sect had always stood on the side of justice. The heroic deeds performed by the Tang sect was the reason why he originally joined them. From Dou Xiaoshu's vague explanation of the battle hall, Tang Wuling had an inkling of what he was signing himself up for, and he was certain this was what he wanted. Dou Xiaoshu cracked a satisfied smile. Welcome. Now that you're a member, I can tell you more about us. The members of the battle hall don't follow the same ranking system as the rest of the sect. The members of the battle hall are called agents. There are 4 classes of agents: white, yellow, purple, and black. We currently have about 200 agents. As a new recruit, you'll start out as a white class agent. All agents receive a monthly salary of contribution points. That's how important our work is. The only requirement is that you complete at least 3 missions a year. For members who also happen to be students like you, only 1 mission a year is required. Of course, you'll be rewarded for completing those missions as well. Furthermore, battle hall agents enjoy certain privileges other sect members don't. Don't let any of this get to your head though. I guarantee you will face danger in your missions. When that happens, prioritize your own safety over the mission's completion. For the remainder of your time in school, I suggest you schedule to complete a mission over any extended breaks you get. Missions take quite a few days. Got it, Tang Wuling said. Now let's get you registered. Follow me. Tang Wuling followed Dou Xiaoshu to the Tang sect headquarters, where they entered an area he had never been to before. After passing through numerous scans and inspections, they arrived at an underground space. Here, these are your standard issue agent equipment. Keep in mind that agents work in shadows. The public does not know of us, so whenever you're on a mission, you must mask your identity and avoid drawing the attention of enemies. Dou Xiaoshu handed Tang Wuling a silver tray. A pristine white robe lay on top. Its style reminiscent of the ancient Tang sect, yet the unknown material was stunningly modern. There was also a white cloak and white metal mask that covered the entire face except for 2 holes. For the eyes, the last item on the tray was small pure white metal that seemed to vibrate with energy. This is the white class agent badge. It's fine to carry on you at all times. In fact, I encourage you to do so. You can use it to call for backup anywhere you are. Just press this button on it and any agents within a 100-kilometer radius will rush to help you. The higher ranking members of the Tang sect will be alerted as well. With that badge, other agents can also call you for help. If you receive a call, then drop whatever you're doing and rush over to help them. Understood? Tang Wuling nodded. You're an agent now, but due to your young age, you don't have to take on any missions yet. Just focus on cultivating. In order to become a yellow agent, you need to become a 1-word battle armor master and complete 10 missions. The monthly allotment of points and missions available also differs between classes of agents. The privileges granted are different too. General Manager Go, why do you have so much trust in me? Don't I need to take a test or something to enter the battle hall? Tang Wuling knew it was important for an organization to have a strict recruitment process. Dou Xiaoshu chuckled. While I am the general manager of this Tang sect headquarters, I'm also the master of the battle hall. Your test started the day you joined the Tang sect. We've been observing you these past few years, taking note of your character, actions, and achievements. It's only now that we decided to invite you. Just take your friends for example. They weren't invited to join the battle hall with you because they don't have the qualifications yet. In a way, you got in with bonus points. Your heroic actions during the 2 terrorist incidents tipped the scale in your favor. Sacrificing yourself for the sake of others, even when faced with an impossible enemy, is worthy of praise. You're right, usually there is a test, but you're just so outstanding that we can skip that part. Now that you know this, don't let it get in your head that joining the battle hall is easy. You're just too great. Shock gripped Tang Wuling. He had never expected the Tang sect to know this much about him. Come, let's give you a taste of just what the battle hall has to offer. Dou Xiaoshu led Tang Wuling into another room. The room rumbled and began descending, revealing itself to be a gigantic elevator. When the elevator stopped, a path opened up and they ventured onward. They soon stood before a gigantic sliding bronze door with numerous mysterious symbols carved on it. In the field of space research, our Tang sect, the Federation, and the Spirit Pagoda each have our own strengths. The Tang sect specializes in pocket spaces. Go in and search for a space suitable for yourself. The system will tell you how long you have in there. It should be about 12 hours. 12 hours? Tang Wuling did a quick calculation in his head. 12 hours later would still be early morning of the next day, so he shouldn't be late for class in that case. Okay. Tang Wuling pushed against the heavy door, slowly forcing it open to reveal a portal of shimmery light behind it. A sign above it read Battle Hall. This was the entrance to the pocket space of the Battle Hall. Taking a deep breath in and calming his nerves, Tang Wuling cautiously stepped through the portal. The scene before him immediately blurred. Light flashed past his vision, making him feel nausea and battering the shield of spiritual power protecting his mind. A moment later, everything righted itself, and he could see his surroundings. He stood in a long corridor, indistinguishable from the one before. Taking a look behind him, he saw the portal he had just come out of. It was quietly closing, the last of its shimmering glow disappearing a second later. I haven't eaten dinner yet. Tang Wuling pouted. Whatever. Since I'm here already, I'll just have to press on. I can endure the hunger tonight. The corridor was similar to a cellar, only about 5 meters wide with doors lining the walls. Tang Wuling continued onward, looking at the signs on each door. The first sign read Hall of Heroes. Hall of Heroes? Isn't that where I took my entry test to the Tang sect? I can enter the Hall of Heroes here. Despite his curiosity, Tang Wuling didn't immediately go in. He wanted to know all his options before making a choice. Walking further, he saw some familiar signs. There was a design room, making room, blacksmithing room, mecha piloting room, a battle armor fusion room, and so on. Eventually, he found a plant type cultivation room as well. There was a room for every purpose imaginable. Is this space used for raising Tang sect members? I wonder how it compares with the ones at Shrek Academy. In the end, Tang Wuling chose the plant type cultivation room. Since it was his first time here, he decided to play it safe. Chapter 510, Benefits of the Battle Hall. As soon as he stepped inside the plant cultivation room, Tang Wuling almost tripped. How is this a room? This is already an entire forest. A dense thicket of trees surrounded him. There were no paths discernible, nothing but towering trees that stretched toward the skies. The air pulsed with vitality, a single breath enough to fill him with vigor. His ears caught the distinct melody of birdsongs. The whole experience almost surreal. This place reminds me of somewhere else. Tang Wuling gasped. Right. The Spirit Ascension platform. The platform is modeled after the Great Star Dou Forest, so if they're so similar, does that mean this place modeled after it too? But the life energy is a lot thicker here, and the plants are more lush. Wow. Shrek Academy's cultivation space is nothing compared to this. This place has 3 times the energy density. I can cultivate way faster here. Mindful of his limited time, Tang Wuling immediately sat down cross-legged and began to meditate. His eyes closed. He sent his senses outward, entangling with the life energy around him. Then he absorbed the energy, fully descending into a deep meditative state. Time flew by. Tang Wuling finally stirred awake at a faint disturbance. When he opened his eyes, he was astonished to find himself back in the corridor of rooms. The portal of light was right before him. So my time is up. Tang Wuling understood immediately. He felt invigorated after his cultivation session and was happy with his progress. His soul power had grown twice as much as in a night in the campus cultivation spaces. His blood essence had grown purer and stronger as well. Is this the effect of bathing in life energy? Amazing. That place is great. As expected of the Tang sect, they're just as great as the Spirit Pagoda. Stepping through the portal, Tang Wuling experienced another bout of vertigo before arriving outside the bronze door. Go Xiaoshu was there waiting for him, welcoming him back with a warm smile. How do you feel? Amazing. I can cultivate so quickly in there. If I could cultivate in that plant-type room every day, I'm absolutely certain I'll reach rank 40 within a year. A chuckle escaped Go Xiaoshu. Actually, it's a bit of a waste to use your time in there cultivating. A waste? How come? Tang Wuling asked. Just follow me and you'll find out, Go Xiaoshu said, making for the exit. The doors of the Tang sect had shut behind them, the evening sky looming above. Huh. It's not morning yet. I guess I didn't cultivate a full 12 hours. Tang Wuling looked around in confusion. Go Xiaoshu shook his head. No. You did in fact cultivate for a full 12 hours, but only 1 hour has passed here in the outside world. Tang Wuling staggered. The battle hole's pocket space isn't just separated from the rest of the world. Continued Go Xiaoshu. Time passes quicker in there than outside, about 12 times faster. So for every 12 hours you spend in there, only 1 hour passes out here. Couldn't you use this time to hone your combat skills? Perhaps go blacksmithing. There are all sorts of things you could spend that time on, so don't focus so much on cultivation next time. That's a bit of a waste. Tang Wuling struggled to overcome his shock throughout Go Xiaoshu's lecture. What? Time flows differently, 12 times as quickly. How is that even possible? There's so much I can accomplish if I use those rooms often. His heart raced, imagination running wild. Whole master, doesn't that mean if I cultivated in a pocket space for 1 year, it would be equivalent to cultivating for 12 years? Go Xiaoshu smiled wryly and shook his head. You shouldn't think of it like that. If you stay in there too long, your life energies will become attuned with the quickened time flow, and the change will become irreversible. Once you finally leave the space, you'll age 12 times quicker too. After a lot of testing, we found that for the best results, the first session should be 12 hours long. After that, you can enter once a week for 12-hour sessions. That way, your life energies will stay attuned to the outside world's time flow. Tang Wuling sighed. I guess I was expecting too much. If you could spend as much time as you want in there, that would defy the laws of the world too much. Amusement lit up in Go Xiaoshu's eyes. Kids at your age have too much on your plates and not enough time to clear it all. The benefit of the battle hall is an extra 11 hours a week in the best cultivation environment on the continent. Make sure you come every week and spend your time doing something important. These benefits are amazing. Tang Wuling smiled gleefully. I never expected the Tang sect to have such advanced space-time technology. Don't let all this get to your head. In order to become strong, you must rely on your own efforts and not on others. Your path of cultivation is excellent so far, but I can't comment about your bloodline's growth since something like that has never appeared in all of Douluo history. You'll have to be careful about it. If you ever have anything you're not sure about, I encourage you to come ask me. Yes. Thank you, Hall Master. Tang Wuling said, bowing his head. Remember to keep it a secret that you've become a battle hall agent and don't worry about completing a mission for now. You can hold off on that until the vacation at the end of your academic year. Now carry on. I'm sure you have a lot to do. You can come back next week. Understood. If there was a word to describe Tang Wuling at this moment, it would be overjoyed. He now had an extra 11 hours each week in a wonderful cultivation environment. This couldn't have arrived at a better time. Lately, he had felt pressed for time, left struggling to balance his schedule, especially with the addition of mecha piloting practice to his long list of responsibilities. Mecha piloting was heavily reliant on skill and technique and required a large time investment for proficiency. Tang Wuling had been at a loss originally as to how he would fit in piloting practice outside of class with his already busy schedule. Combat practice, blacksmithing, and cultivation were all too important to be sidelined. But now, with an extra 11 hours per week, he could fit everything in. He could practice piloting, blacksmithing, or combat training in the battle hall, depending on which he felt like. The Hall of Heroes had left a deep impression on Tang Wuling. The oppressive might of the replicated historical figures was awe-inspiring, and he had been able to sense chasm between their strength. The battle hall was just too great of a boon for him. Once Tang Wuling left the battle hall, he returned to his busy life, working hard to learn and grow as fast as possible alongside his classmates in the first grade. Although it was Wu Zhangkong's first time teaching at Shrek Academy, Shen Yi had left all teaching responsibilities to him. The students were much more diligent compared to when she had led the class, so she needn't get involved. Watching their growth over the days brought a smile to her lips. Thanks so much for watching this video. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Also leave a comment down below with suggestions on what novels to read.